the beginning of the movie, we see a seismologist named Lawrence. Lawrence was sharing his research with his students. Dr. Lawrence was talking about some of the terrible earthquakes that happened in the past. The magnitude of these earthquakes was probably 9.5 on the Richter scale. These earthquakes were so terrible that big tsunamis came after that, which devastated southern Chile 4 years ago. Lawrence also says that San Andreas, California, is located between two tectonic plates. Therefore, it is very important to research how to understand earthquakes before earthquakes occur. That he is currently doing his research. Otherwise, if such a big earthquake happens in San Andreas, the doctor will not be able to warn anyone. In the next scene, we see Lawrence and one of his colleagues, who sees the possibility of an earthquake near a dam called Huber, and when they get there, they start studying the earthquake. After this incident, we can see a man who was a pilot in the Los Angeles Fire Department. And his name is Ray. In this movie, we can learn some things about Ray. Ray has an 18-year-old daughter named Blake, and his current wife, with whom Ray is divorcing, is named Emma. Not only that, Emma now lives at her home with her current boyfriend, Daniel. On the other hand, we can see Lawrence and his colleagues who were studying the earthquake. But suddenly the level of the earthquake there increased so much that the whole dam broke out. Dr. Lawrence survived with great difficulty. But on the other hand, his colleague could not save himself due to the massive earthquake and the huge level of water that came out from the dam. He floated out in the water. Ray was asked to come on duty for the rescue operation after the incident. On the other hand, we see Daniel go to his office in San Francisco to attend a meeting with Blake. After arriving at the office, Daniel went to the meeting room and Blake was waiting for him outside. At this time, Blake met a boy named Ben and his brother Ollie. We then see a scene in Lawrence's office where a reporter came to interview Lawrence. Then suddenly the rest of the staff in Lawrence's research room told him that they had little time because a terrible earthquake was coming to San Andreas very soon. Soon after this incident, we can see Emma eating at a restaurant in Los Angeles. Just then, an earthquake shook the whole building. Knowing that Emma is in danger, her ex-husband takes a helicopter to rescue Emma. Just then we see Blake and Daniel who were driving through the parking lot, and just then part of a building collapsed on their car due to an earthquake. Blake's legs got stuck badly because of this accident. Daniel wanted to save her, then he called people outside for help. Daniel went to call a security guard, but suddenly a wall over the guard's head collapsed and he died. Daniel is so frightened after seeing this incident that he leaves his girlfriend's one and only daughter there and runs away. Just then, Dan and his younger brother find out that Blake is stuck somewhere. So he runs with his younger brother to save Blake. In Los Angeles, on the other hand, Emma was in great danger. Big buildings were collapsing. Emma struggles to reach the roof because her ex-husband, Ray, tells her to come upstairs. The earthquake was so severe that Emma was crushed on the floor of the building, but at the last moment, Ray came with a helicopter. But it is not easy for him to rescue Emma from there. One house after another was collapsing, and it was all filled with dust and smoke. That is why Ray could not see well. But after many attempts, he was able to take his ex-wife in a helicopter. One house after another collapsed, making it difficult for Ray to drive the helicopter correctly, but he was able to get out safely. Then we can see pictures of the whole of Los Angeles, which turned into a whole crematorium. On the other hand, Ben and his brother tried desperately to save Blake. Finally, before the building collapsed, they managed to rescue Blake and ran away from there. Blake then comes to a safe place, calls his father, and asks him to come and pick her up. Ray finds out that his only daughter is in danger, so he tells Blake to go to the tallest building and wait for him because he and his mother will be there to pick him up very soon. Ray and Emma were on their way to their daughter. But, due to sudden machine failures, their helicopter crashed. But luckily the two of them were absolutely fine. Lawrence, on the other hand, knows that earthquakes will not stop now and will continue for quite a while. We then see Daniel walking down the street alone after leaving Blake. But suddenly an earthquake again started, and again Daniel tries to save himself by putting another man in danger. Then we see Ray and Emma who were driving, but because of the huge potholes in the road created by the earthquake, they couldn't go further. And somehow they managed to get a plane out of there and finally arrive in San Francisco. The airplane has no place to land, so they have to jump out of the plane with a parachute. Later in the movie, we see Lawrence warning all people with the help of a reporter that they should leave San Francisco as soon as possible because the danger here will not be over so easily. We then see Blake come near to the tallest house in town, according to her father, but it is not possible to get there because there were fires all around. So they decide to look for another high-rise home because Blake believed that her father would come to pick her up as he had promised. Then we can see the whole city, which was shaking like water. All the big houses were breaking down like a house of cards. After reaching San Francisco, Ray and Emma realize that due to the worst condition of the road, they can't walk that way to find Blake, so they take a boat. And Ray thinks that he will enter the city by water. Then we can see the scariest scene in the movie, and that is the tsunami. One after another earthquakes creates huge tsunamis in the water, whose size was so large, big houses look nothing in front of it. Ray became so mad to bring his daughter, that he was not at all afraid of the tsunami. He drove the boat so fast as he wanted to enter the city before the tsunami hit. The tsunami was so strong that it knocked down all the boats, houses and everything in the vicinity, and Ray and Emma almost died because he was trapped under a ship, but each time Ray saved himself and his wife with his wisdom. The tsunami was so severe that many houses and boats were destroyed, and even a large ship was hit by the tsunami and dropped on the Golden Bridge. Unfortunately, Daniel was there on the bridge, and Daniel died when he came under the big container of this ship. These scenes in the movie were so horrible that they will give you goosebumps. Blake, on the other hand, took refuge in an under-construction building. But after a while, everything sank there due to the tsunami. On the other hand, Ray and Emma crossed a huge wave of water and entered the city. And started looking for Blake here and there. The whole city was in ruins, so they couldn't find her daughter at first. But then they finally see Blake. The moment they see Blake, the very moment Blake's house collapses, and Blake drowned in the water. After seeing this accident, Ray swam into the submerged house without thinking about anything. He went in and saw that Blake was not able to breathe. But Ray broke down the door with all his might and rescued Blake from there. Blake lost consciousness for a while. Seeing that, everyone thinks that Blake is dead, but it doesn't happen. Blake wakes up. And Ray, his family, as well as Ben and Olivia, are all together and back in good health. At the end of the movie, we can see that the earthquake has stopped. Many people lost their lives, but some people survived. Among them were Ray and his family. The team comes to the rescue of the survivors. Ray then tells his wife to start all over again. And the movie ends here. So friends, how did you like this video today? If you enjoyed it, then please like the video and subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more explanations of Hollywood movies.